Have you ever felt guilty for saying yes? I have. Because at that time, when I was always saying yes, I felt like I was owing everybody my presence or my time. And I had a scarcity mindset. I felt like if I don't say yes to this, there's nothing better that's going to come. And slowly over time, I realized that always saying yes was actually me saying no to myself. It was not about being liked. Sometimes it was just thinking that this is the last great opportunity that was going to come my way. And the default answer that I always gave people was yes, I will do it. Yes, I will be there. Yes, I will go on a date with you, you know? But every time I said yes, something didn't align within me. And I realized that I was actually saying no to myself. What are you secretly saying no to? Each time you say yes, out of fear, out of guilt, out of obligation. At first, I didn't recognize the discomfort. I just knew that I was exhausted. I just knew that something wasn't right, but I didn't have a name for it. I felt pulled in 1,000 directions, and the things that I wanted just didn't have the impact that I wanted. I felt like I was spread too thin. I felt tired. I felt overwhelmed. I realized that something needed to change, and I started by asking myself, why does saying no feel so wrong? And the answer, if I'm being honest, is that I was scared of being seen as too difficult, too ungrateful, or worst of all, too unlikable. But here's the thing, the more I hustled to please everybody else, the more I devalued myself, the more I made myself so tired, and the more emotionally I drew myself too thin. I was sacrificing my own standards for approval and for just like weak opportunities, if I'm being honest. So here's the truth, ne? If you never set a boundary, you're never gonna raise your standards. And once I did, something really magical started to happen. Decisions became effortless. I could spot immediately what aligned with my path and what didn't. And also the opportunities that came my way were very much aligned to like this new version of myself. I can give you an example of one of my values. I'm not gonna share my whole list now. So one of my values is pleasure. I want to do things that I enjoy because I know that when I'm excited about something, I always give my best. When I'm excited about something, it naturally, I don't have to even try, it naturally pulls out excellence in me. So I love chasing projects that I enjoy. I want to enjoy what I do. A lot of people don't have that same value, and I'm not saying you should have my value, but I'm saying that the value that you have will dictate the kinds of people and opportunities that you invite into your life. And once I started listing my values, I started practicing the art of saying no. At first, I was so nervous because I was like, what are people going to say now that I'm saying no? Like, I'm not as available as I used to be, you know? Like, are they gonna think I'm stuck up? Are they gonna think that I'm full of myself? Are they gonna think, you know? My heart raced a little bit every single time I said no at the beginning. It began with saying no and then giving a long explanation, but over time, no was a full sentence. And what was shocking is that I said no and the world didn't crumble. The world kept moving. So when I realized that, oh, it's actually okay to say no, I kept saying it even more often. So imagine if the next time you say no, you're actually saying the biggest yes to yourself. Every single time you overcommit, you're teaching yourself and your subconscious and your mind that your needs are not important. I'm somebody who believes in the hell yeah or no philosophy, which means that if it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. I don't do maybes anymore. Maybes are time wasters. Maybes are the reason why procrastination is even a thing. It's because I don't feel passionately excited about something. A lot of renowned thinkers actually advocate for this kind of thinking, that if it's a hell yeah, go all the way in, and if it's not a hell yeah, don't do it. Pass it up to somebody else, and it could be a hell yeah for that other person. If something doesn't light you up, if something doesn't align with your values, the default answer is no, because every single yes that you give is an investment to finite resources. We don't have all the time in the world. We don't have all the energy in the world. We don't have all the focus in the world. So when you say yes, those three things are going to be committed to whatever you say yes to. A lot of people just act like we are going to be here forever. We're not. Even during the day, like, your energy fluctuates. Our energy is a finite resource. So what you say yes to, choose it carefully. When I applied this philosophy of if it's not a hell yeah, it's a no, I not only regained my peace, but I actually elevated the types of projects that I collaborated with, but also the kinds of projects that I create. My standards rose naturally because I'm no longer drowning in obligations that don't serve me. So if you're into journaling like myself, I would suggest your next journal prompt to be, what's one thing on my plate right now that I need to politely decline? And what could blossom in its place if I did? It's one thing to nod along in this video, but it's another thing to actually decline a request. Here is a list of 5 frameworks that can help you to improve your standards. Number 1, know what your non-negotiables are. Write down what your top 3 values are right now. Your top 3 values with friendship, relationships, business. You know something is a value when it can cut across all categories. So write down what those 3 values are. It can even be 5 values. And at the end of the week, review them and see if they still stick with you. And that's okay. It's okay to realign and edit. And after a few weeks of doing this, you're going to start to get a clearer picture of what it is that you stand for. So now, if a request comes through and it doesn't align to those 5 values, it's very easy to say no. Number 2, learn to delay your response. If somebody asks for your time, say thank you for your request, but I just need to go check my schedule. This gives you space to decide instead of reacting. Number 3, if you still want to help without over-compromising yourself, suggest another person or another alternative, or request a different timeline. For example, if somebody wants you to do something and they want it urgently and you generally don't have the space in your calendar to do it, you could say, hey, I'm really interested in doing this thing, but I can only have a look at it on Friday. The 4th thing that you can do is use a very polite but firm script. Thank God we have ChatGPT that can help us manage our tone. You can say something like, thank you so much for considering me, but I'm focusing on other priorities right now. You don't owe everybody a paragraph explanation about why you're saying no. Saying that you're too busy right now is enough, but thank you so much for thinking about me. And the most important thing, which is tip number 5, is that you need to soothe yourself internally after you say no. Remind yourself that saying no is actually a decision where you're choosing yourself. I could even say, take it a step further, make it an affirmation. Every single time you say no to things that don't align to your values, you're saying yes to yourself. Because it's not a bad thing to say no, because the more rested you are, the more aligned you are, the better your life is going to become. I won't lie, the first few no's are going to feel a little bit awkward, especially if those no's come from a reputable company or reputable person. But the thing that they're asking you to do just does not align. It can be easy to feel like you're going to be disappointing a few people. But just know that with every boundary that you set, your sense of self is going to grow stronger. You're going to stop fearing losing opportunities. You're going to be stepping more into an abundant state because the right opportunities can spot somebody who knows their worth right away. And guess what? When I said no, the space that I created for myself filled up with wonderful opportunities. It filled up with relationships, friendships, projects, getaways, lunches. You know, it's almost like the universe said, you get it now. You're finally ready for the blessings that you've been praying for, because sometimes we block ourselves from the blessings that we are praying for by saying yes to things that we have no business being involved in. So here's a fun exercise. Say no to the next small thing that you feel like doesn't align to your values and see how the universe reacts. And you're going to see the universe is not going to crumble. It's going to stay intact, baby. The world is going to move on, and you're going to start to feel how freeing it is to say yes to yourself. So saying no is a skill that helps you to raise your standards. When you clear out the noise, especially in here, you make room for better ideas. You make room for higher quality friendships. You make room for higher quality relationships. You make room for creating more impactful work. You make room for deeper self-care. So I want you to think about your standards as the soil of your life. If you let weeds, which in this case are misaligned commitments, if you let these weeds grow unchecked, they choke the most valuable parts of yourself and of your life. By pulling those weeds, you nurture space for growth. But I also need you to remember that standards are not things that are static. They evolve the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you practice saying no, the more you practice your boundaries, the more you trust yourself to handle both the accolades and the backlash. That's when you develop emotional sovereignty. So I want to ask you something. Where in your life are you still playing small because you are fearing somebody else's reaction? If that landed, this video is a sign for you to start to rise. If my journey resonated with you, consider this your invitation to get unapologetically clear about your values, to defend them from a place of love. Raise your standards by learning the art of saying no, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Because the thing is, when your values are clear, saying no becomes an act of alignment. Every yes becomes a powerful commitment to your highest path. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video gave you the nudge that you needed. So please comment below, what is the one thing that you're saying no to this week? Let's raise our standards together.